Yeah, it's been a while. Main reasons for that: one, work's got me busy, and two, my free time has been taken up by Monster Hunter Rise. So with that being said, we are going to name off my top 10 favorite monsters in Monster Hunter history. Not what I think top 10 best are, because I think Elder Dragons would take up most of that list. So let's get to it. So starting the list, we have my favorite of the beginning Raptors. Now, me starting with Monster Hunter's Try and most of my playtime being in Monster Hunters for You, my favorite Raptor is obviously going to reflect that. And it is close. Great Suzuki almost beat it, but my heart still goes out to the Great Jaggy. Why? Well, for one, unlike most other Raptors, he has no status element for you to worry about, so new players to the game don't have to start off with, oh, I'm getting poisoned, oh, I'm asleep, what are these status elements? 2, he's not as annoying as the Great Mako, who just flies around everywhere, and me being a greatsword main, we can all see how that can get annoying. But all in all, Great Jaggy, amazing Raptor, Great Azuchi might actually overtake him in time, but as of right now, Great Jaggy still gets it. Alright, and for number 9, we have the Nurseilla. Now, at time of recording this, I have not yet fought Raknikadaki, so he may or may not replace Nurseilla in this list, but as of right now, Nurseilla is still number 1. Why do I like this monster? 1, the armor, it looks freaking amazing, even the shrouded variant. And 2, it's a fun fight. It's the first fight I've experienced where you had to fight the monster upside down on the roof. He has poison you have to worry about. I'm pretty sure he has sleep, but I may be wrong. And I like how you can damage the pincers only on certain times and situational. Although farming those is a pain in the ass. But that is number 9. Alright, and for number 8, we have the first monster on this list from the new game of Monster Hunter Rise, in Gosfarag. If I didn't say that right, I don't care. So, why do I like him? He makes his hands into blades of ice. It's freaking amazing. I don't know what else to say. He's just a really fun fight. He has a range attack, but he doesn't spam it. And you can break the blades and turn them into a freaking just, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Or you can let the blade stay and he's just gonna try to cut you. All in all, oh yeah, and the freaking great sword, man. Massive damage with ice power. Screw the negative affinity. I'll deal with it. So all in all, great monster. I love whenever he gets really pissed off, he goes dual bladed, and it's just so fun. Alright, and Monster Hunter's Generations introduced the Fated 4. It is the first game with 4 flagship monsters instead of 1. This is the first of 2 that are on this list. And what we are talking about is the Bladed Tail Glavenus. See, Glavenus is an interesting one. He is a T-Rex who has a flaming tail that is a sword and gets sharpened by grinding his teeth against it. All his attacks are carefully choreographed, so you have to pay attention, but they're not impossible to predict. They're also, if you're using the adept style, which I miss, you can pretty effectively just keep perfect dodging into a extremely strong charge attack just off of how the tail works. So with that being said, let's move on to the next one. And for number 6, we have one of the OG monsters, I'm pretty sure OG all the way from the second game, of Nargacuga. Why do I like this fight? It's fast, he's not overly powerful to where he spams you with attacks that deal half damage each, but they still do a pretty respectable amount of damage. He has range. If he doesn't want to throw spikes at you, he will pounce towards you. These can be blocked, not easily read, but still not impossible to read either. And his armor just looks sweet and is good for evading if you're built that way for a hit and run style of tactics, which comes in handy with a lot of monsters, especially when you're playing with Greatsword. So, let's see who's next. And for number 5, we have the demon himself, the flagship of Monster Hunter Rise. It is Magnamalo. Why do I like this monster? One, he has a blast effect, and blast effect on monsters are awesome, especially whenever you can take that blast effect, lay it on the ground like a mine, have him hit it, and knock himself down. And same thing with his armor, where if a monster's enraged and you hit it, you get that blight on you, but you can just leave it on the ground and have a monster run into it and get knocked down. But his design is phenomenal, and I view him as better Zenogre. And Zenogre was originally going to be on this list until I hit that thing. The fight was kind of a joke. I didn't have many issues with it. All his attacks are easily readable, minus the one where he goes Nova and dives straight into you, which somehow I don't really get hit by, but I still can't read it. But he's a fun fight. His armor's freaking awesome. The effect his armor gets to where he gives you that blast blight. If you get hit, it takes more damage, but you can lay it down like mines. So, that's what I think about Magnamalo. And it is a beautiful monster, and can't wait to fight him in G rank when that eventually comes. Alright, now for number 4, we have the last of the Fated 4 on this list. It is the beautiful serpent Mitsune. This is just a really fun fight overall. He has 2 attacks that shoot water, and it's either a straight beam or a swipe, which are both dodgeable, but still throw things in the mix between the original playstyle of dodge the bubbles and beat them. The other thing you can do, especially on Rise, which is what I like to do, get hit by 2 bubbles to give you Bubble Blight, and just go around, sliding around and pelting it with kunai. It's just an overall fun fight. And then you can just run into the red bubbles, give you an attack boost, or the green bubbles to heal you. And, man, the way it just attacks, and the fact that it uses bubbles to hunt, to slip up the monsters, to pounce and attack them, the way that it moves, it's kind of like serpent-like, and by serpent I mean like snake, not, it kind of is a serpent, but I digress. It's just a beautiful monster overall, and I hope they bring Soul Seer Mitsune into the game. So that's what I think about Mitsune. And for number 3, we have the first flagship, the first big bad. It is Rathalos, the King of the Skies, and I don't think anything's been able to take that moniker away from him to date, especially with all his variants being Azure Rathalos, Silver Rathalos, and Dread King. Rathalos is just a beautiful monster and a better Raytheon. And I can legitimately say that because Raytheon was the first monster ever designed. And then they made Rathalos because they said Raytheon's too weak. Suck it, Raytheon. But he has poison that is easily telegraphed by him going into the sky, and you better be able to dodge out of the way at just the right time, or be able to block it. Great swords are awesome, because with the exception of Monster Hunter Rise, that poison attack had pinpoint accuracy, and he would not miss. Kind of annoying, but... And in Monster Hunter Rise, they just speeded up and made it less accurate. Which I kind of prefer the old way where it was pinpoint. But That being said, there's not many monsters who can stand up to his fury. So let's move on to number 2. And for the runner-up of my favorite monster, we have Dalla Madore, the giant snake. Why do I love this? It's the first monster where you literally have to jump on it and attack it that way. You have to physically jump on it because it is so big that it's bigger than the arena it's on. That is freaking amazing. He's so big he causes earthquakes. He can rain down meteors. He has this awesome dragon breath that is kind of hard to dodge. Dalla Madore is one of my favorite elder dragons of all time. With that, there's also the Shaw Dalla Madore, which is harder, and his armor is just looking amazing. You better bring your A game for this one because you're in for a hell of a fight. And it is, I believe, the biggest monster to date in Monster Hunters. So let's see who beats him for my all-time favorite monster in Monster Hunters history. And number 1, we have the Master of the Frenzy. The one that turns all monsters into crazed maniacs, then feed on their bodies when they finally die. We have the Gore Magala. And with it, Shiguru Magala, because Shiguru Magala is adult Gore Magala. Gore Magala is all-time favorite monster and all-time favorite elder dragon. And yes, he is an elder dragon because there are many instances of monsters who have a different name for the adolescent form, but they still share the same name classification as their adult form. Why do I like Gore Magala so much? Well, you have the frenzy. The first time you get hit with frenzy, you have no clue what's going on. You just see this white on you, and you're wondering, what the hell do I do? What is this doing? Or it doesn't look to be any effect. Only through trial and error do you figure out that you can either nullify it with Nullberry, take it in stride, and just run away from Gore Magala and it weaken your effect, or, my personal favorite, run up and stay in the frenzy clouds, and it will literally make your strikes stronger periodically. I am also a big fan of monsters who have a body part that can only be broken at certain times, also known as Gore Magala's feelers, even though sometimes it's really annoying to farm them. But Gore Magala will always be my favorite monster in Monster Hunters. So, if you don't agree with this list, suck it. This is my favorite monsters. Not your favorite, mine. So that being said, thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, subscribe if you want to see more, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.